Hello and welcome to the MRO show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Adam Porter. Chadwell Supply is 100% dedicated to the multifamily industry. Your order is on our truck delivered the next day. Learn more at chadwellsupply.com. Today on the MRO show, we're going to be talking about everybody's new favorite refrigerant topic, A2Ls. We're going to talk about R-32 and R-454B. And here to help us have that conversation is my friend, Senior Vice President of Merchandising here at Chadwell Supply, Mr. Neil Cole. Neil, how you doing today?
It's good to see you, Adam. Doing well. How are you?
Great to see you. I'm doing good. I have wanted to have you in the hot seat here on the MRO show for a quick minute, Neil. And I want to let everybody here, out there who's listening or is watching this video, know the kind of person that we have here talking with us today. You're somebody who is very familiar with residential refrigeration.
Yes.
You've been in the industry for a long time, even before you came to Chadwell Supply. Mm-hmm. So share with us a little bit about your background, Neil. Let us know who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate the opportunity. The story started, I think, in 1999. In Atlanta, Georgia. Worked for an HVAC and plumbing distributor then, and have been in the business ever since. Spent a little time in manufacturing with Daikin the last 10 years, and was fortunate enough to join Chadwell in April after calling on them for about 10 years with Daikin as a national account director. So it's good to be here.
Good to be. Mm-hmm. So you had a previous relationship with Chadwell Supply. What mm-hmm. was it about who Chadwell Supply is as a company that made you want to come over here and join this team?
Culture. It's an easy answer.
Yeah, it really is pretty special.
It is. It's unlike any other business I've ever been associated with.
So thinking about all of your time looking at residential refrigeration mm-hmm. With Daikin and previous to that, and now with Chadwell Supply, looking at product merchandising for mm-hmm. us, it's fair to say you've been through one of these refrigerant transitions a time or two.
Yes, we did the transition from R-22 to 410A, which was a big one. We went from that to now this, various efficiency increases, which are a lot of fun as well, similar to this. So yeah, you could say we've been through some changes on this side.
So Neil, we know that 410A is going to continue to be available. Mm-hmm. It's going to be scarcer. It's going to get more expensive as time
yes.
goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But you were talking about these two new A2L refrigerants,
yes.
R-32 and 454B,
mm-hmm.
And both Goodman Manufacturing, one of our longtime partners in the industry, and Chadwell Supply has chosen R-32 for their exclusive brand Brothers units. Neil, as VP of Merchandising here at Chadwell Supply, why was that decision made to go with R-32?
Yeah, great question. So number one, R-32 is a more efficient option. So when we've had efficiency increases in the past, we just went through one recently, mm-hmm. Physics demands that those units get larger, right? They've got to become more efficient. And there's a couple ways to do that. They either use variable speed motors or the units themselves get larger. What's happened with R-32 is it's allowed us, being more efficient, to actually reduce the footprint of some of the condensers and heat pumps out there, which is a very rare occurrence in the recent time here.
So more space around the unit, more airflow, better efficiency.
That's correct. So that's number one. Number two, single component refrigerant, right? So it works and functions much like R-22 has done in the past. So with a single component, you don't have what they call fractionization. Mm-hmm. Is that a term? I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Actually, won't fractionate. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a happening where the mix or the blend of refrigerant components, they actually are released at different rates. And so when that happens, the chemical makeup actually changes in a blended refrigerant. So being an R-32 is a single component, mm-hmm. That doesn't occur. It leaks at the same rate. So you do not have to weigh all the charge out of the unit mm-hmm. and then weigh it all back in. So when there's a leak. So that's a big deal.
You know how much it's in there and you know what's in there.
You know what's in there. It's not a new chemical compound at that point.
So if you do have a little bit of leak, and of course we mm-hmm. know that no refrigerant and no equipment out there has ever had a leak. It's never been an issue.
Right.
So when our guys out there turning the wrenches do have a leak, and they can top it off.
Yeah. Well, there's another big reason too, Adam, and that is this is proven technology, right? So it's not something something's being tested on us, the MRO customers, our multifamily customers. This product's been around since 2012. It's currently in 280 million systems around the world. So it is proven technology. So we're not having to test it. We're not a test market for it. It is proven technology.
13. I want to reiterate that so everybody can take the gravity, because if you're anything like me, 2012 feels like it was yesterday. That's 13 going on 14 years. And you said 280 million units.
Yeah, worldwide.
More than 130 countries.
That's correct.
Now we're seeing the U.S., so at least 131.
Right.
So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, but it seems like if something was going to go wrong or this was a bad refrigerant, we'd have known by now.
Yes. The other part of this too, currently it's readily available. So it is everywhere. You can pick up R-32 in just about any supply house. 454B as the alternative, it's a little more scarce.
Seen some shortages this year.
Yeah, there's some, and the reason for that, the patents on R-32 have been released. So anybody who produces refrigerant can produce R-32. So again, it makes it more prevalent, costs a little less. R-54B being a little more scarce, having only 2 manufacturers allows for price to be elevated a little bit above 32.
Basic economics. Let's live there for a little bit, because I know that all of our customers that I've spoken to, probably all the ones you've spoken to, they like paying less for stuff.
Agreed. Right.
So if they're getting comparable efficiencies, comparable effectiveness, and they can pay significantly less for it, it's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal. Yes.
Very good. So let me just kind of go back. Let's walk through what we talked about. You talked about efficiency. And you talked about the fact that this is a proven commodity. It's something we've seen for 13 going on 14 years now. You talked about that it's a single component refrigerant, so it's not going to fractionate.
Right.
You're not going to have any temp glide. So for guys out there that are working on it and they do have a leak, they can go ahead and put it back in there and just make sure it's fully charged.
Top it off. They love that term and they love to be able to do it. Top it off.
Well, it just makes it more convenient, because we know all these guys out there turning wrenches on these properties. They have a stack of work orders to the ceiling. Like their service requests are not getting any shorter.
Correct.
So the faster they can get done with one, the more efficient that they can be. And that's saving money and time all the way up the line. Management companies are appreciative of it. The maintenance guys are being able to take care of stuff quickly. And that Miss Smith over in 201 is happier, so she's not complaining on the Facebooks.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's a tangible and a practical benefit. And then I want to also come back to a big hit for this is R-32 as a non-proprietary refrigerant. It's cheaper.
It is. Yeah. And it's more prevalent. It's readily available. So that is, that's a big deal that you can get it anywhere, because it goes back to Mrs. Smith. You know, we want to make her happy and happy quickly. So the more than likely they're going to be able to go around to their neighborhood supply house or to Chadwell, local Chadwell branch, and pick that R-32 up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we all know that when I know when my AC is out, I'm super patient and reasonable with the guys out there fixing it. I take all the time you need, sir. Go ahead and just, go grab a lunch. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody feels that way. We want this done quick. We want it done now. We want to be able to have the most efficiency.
Correct.
And then you also talked too about the smaller size. That multifamily footprint is a pretty cool factor in all of this.
It is. It is. So we think about a slab, right? We have 10 units out there. We'd like to be able to put 10, when we replace those, put 10 units back rather than pour slab. So this is a big deal that it's actually not getting larger, in some cases getting smaller.
No new concrete, but extra space.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a pretty good equation. I like the way that balances out. So one of the concerns, I know that you've been fielding a lot of questions. Our sales team is out there talking to our customers, and folks have some concerns. So I wanted to kind of look at the elephant in the room and point directly at it and say that thing is right there, and let's talk about it a little bit. A2L, that stands for designation of mildly flammable. On the ASHRAE scale, we know that A1's non-flammable, no flame propagation. A3, propane. A2, slightly flammable. And that L, what does that L stand for?
Lightly flammable.
Lightly flammable. So it's even less flame propagation than a standard A2.
Correct.
Gotcha. And so again, they've been putting this refrigerant in units for almost 14 years now. We don't see any headlines about stuff blowing up, stuff catching on fire. We do see a lot of, frankly, scare tactics out there. There's some fanciful videos thrown out on YouTube where they're pretending that they're using an A2L refrigerant, and they're not.
Correct.
And they're trying to make a fuss about it. And frankly, when you say flammable, to anyone in any situation, they have questions.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me, Neil, why our customers don't need to be concerned about A2Ls.
Yeah. So either one of these, R-454B or 32, either one of those will just, when a flame is present, it will burn, right? It's not going to, but it's not going to combust and explode. So it is not, there's not a risk of, a unit blowing up outside the house. I've heard some of the scare tactics before. I'll go back to my early career when 410A was transitioning. I'd heard stories about folks, units blowing up because of 410A.
Pressure, right.
Yeah, that, and it just didn't happen. What we have here now is a product on both A2Ls. They will burn. Flame is present. It will not go out. It will burn, but it's not going to explode and blow up your outdoor unit or indoor unit. But they're within the systems themselves. There are mitigation devices, right? That are there in case there is a leak, because you don't want flammable properties in the air, right, in the home. So it will shut the system down, and that is any manufacturer who is building a system that's based on an A2L, they all have these mitigation devices present.
Now, we were able, with a couple folks on your team, to go up and look at one of our units the other day, and we took it apart and we looked at it, and that mitigation device is very prevalent. It's very present.
Yes.
It's obvious. It's going to do the job that it needs to do. And what happens, for example, if that mitigation device, if that sniffer, senses any leaks, what happens to the system?
It shuts the system down.
So the system has stopped working. And that is going to generate a call from Mrs. Smith, who says, hey, it's getting a little warm in here, getting a little toasty. And so you're going to come and you want to check that. You want to make sure there's not a leak. So the system does have that safety feature installed. So you don't keep pushing that refrigerant out there.
Right.
Good. And one of the other things that we've heard a lot, and let's just call it what it is. I'm a guy, I like to use precise terminology. There's a lot of propaganda out there about the two different refrigerants that are on offer.
Yes.
And one of the things, we heard this recently, we did a big sales call a couple of days ago. You led the team in that. And we had some folks with Goodman on the call as well. Some of these people who understand the chemistry of this. And they were talking about regulations. And one of the things that came up was the rumor out there that R-32 is going away in a couple of years. Neil, tell me why that is or isn't a factual statement.
Yeah. So I think a lot of where this is bubbling up from would be some just bad intel from our competitors who are beholden to 454B. The other thing is there's chatter in the state legislatures about lowering the GWP.
Global warming potential? Right?
Yes. Yeah. To a level that no A2L would be, would qualify. So, but nothing federally is on the docket. There is no proposed lowering of the GWP standards for refrigerant currently. So that's just, again, to use your words, propaganda. So it's just bad intel.
The EPA is not about half measures. When they dropped this limit here at 700 GWP, that was a hard line. And it took a while. It took several years to get that pushed through, to get that legislation taken care of, and then to get that rolled out.
Correct.
They want to do their job. They're the EPA. They want to protect the environment. But at the same time, they understand the economic realities in the world. We can't just retool every couple of years.
No. Coming from manufacturing, I can tell you it's extremely expensive for the factories to retool for new products like this, and it takes time. So having firsthand knowledge of that, it is not an easy process. And all the major manufacturers, they're present in Washington, so they're speaking to Congress about the challenges that come with any type of change, be it efficiency or refrigerant.
And they're not really, at this point, nobody's talking about lowering the GWP anymore. I know that, and not so much here in the States, but I know over in Europe. And typically, a few years after Europe makes a decision, we start looking at the issues as well. There is some chatter about looking at what they call forever chemicals, and they're concerned about long-term impacts to the environment.
Correct.
Now, R-32 doesn't fall under that category either.
It does not, no.
Okay. And it's something we do want to say too, like R-454B is something like 69% R-32 as it is.
Yes.
So it's a blended refrigerant, and it's blended primarily with R-32 and then 1234YF.
Yes.
So you got 32 and 1234YF and 454, and then obviously 32 is a single component. And doesn't seem like there's going to be anything happening anytime soon to lower that GWP or further restrict these refrigerants?
Yeah, nothing currently is on the docket.
Mm-hmm. And we stay, and I know that your team really stays on top of what's happening. And you guys, we have Chadwell, both Chadwell Supply and then other contacts you have in the industry.
Yes,
are paying close attention to legislation.
They are.
So our customers out there, because they're making, this is an investment. We're making a shift. Everybody's making a shift. They're making a financial investment. They don't need to worry that the ground's going to move out from under them.
That's correct. And I would add on to that if they've just currently made an investment in 410A with us, that product, the parts to support that product, honor that warranty span are going to be prevalent for the next 10 to 15 years too. So A2Ls, they'll take that same approach as that product gets more mature in the market.
So I want to reiterate that. So 410A parts and components are going to continue to be available. The refrigerant's going to continue to be available. As far as we know, there's not going to be any major shift change or any more transitions in the next few years.
Yeah, nothing again, is on the docket. 410A, the production will continue to fall year over year. So the law of supply and demand will apply, as we go into that. But, at this point in time, it's still pretty prevalent in the market.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about supply and demand. And one of the things Chadwell Supply, we hang our hat on being the favorite MRO supplier of multifamily professionals.
Absolutely.
We do that by actually going and talking to our customers, asking them what they want, what they need. We've got customers out there that are still running R-22 units, and they're using derivative refrigerant, and they're dropping them in. And then we've got a lot of people that are loving R-410A.
Correct.
They want to stick with that. But for those who are making the decision, and it's a 5 to 10 year decision at minimum for the equipment they're buying right now, the A2L equipment. Where are some places, Neil, that folks can go to get good information that they can trust about A2L refrigerants?
Yeah, you can go right to our website. We have a portion on there that speaks directly to A2Ls. So I'd encourage everyone to visit that section of our website because there's a lot of good information. There's secondhand information from some of our partners that we've accumulated there. So it's an excellent resource to answer most, if not all, questions related to A2Ls.
One of the things I like most about some of that information, other than it's colorful and easier for me to read, our graphics team has done a phenomenal job putting pictures out there so I can translate all that and make it make sense to me.
Better with pictures, yes.
For sure. And they also have a lot of primary sources. So if you want to know, all right, where's the EPA decision? I want to read that for myself. You can click through and find that. You can find the ASHRAE scale. You can look at that. There's a lot of in-depth detail. So if you just want to know what are the greatest hits, what are the bullet points, what do I absolutely need to know about this, you can. And then if you really want to dig down into why, you can learn that as well.
That's correct. You can fully nerd out and all that.
And then also our friends at Chadwell University have put together a webinar that anybody can look at anytime they want to. It's extensive. I know Mark, one of our trainers, led the webinar, and he did a phenomenal job walking through, all the hits we need to know, all the information we need to know. He got into the minutia of this. Talk about nerding out. Now, Mark is a guy who knows his business. He knows his stuff, and he's put together that webinar. Anybody can go check it out. Next Gen webinar, or Next Gen HVAC webinar. So Neil, if anybody has any questions, and you have somebody out there right now who's about to make a decision about this, what would you encourage them to do if they do have questions?
Yeah, again, reach out to your Chadwell Supply sales rep. They're happy to guide you through this process. We've been conducting quite a bit of training through that, with more to come internally. Again, utilize the tools on our website. I think there's some independent sources on the internet if you want to go that route and look around for yourself. They'll all speak to kind of the merits of 32 and the merits of 454B, but there's a lot of good information there. Don't believe everything is on the internet like I do, but no, there's a tremendous amount of information they can reach. But I would say start with a Chadwell Supply sales rep.
Start with a Chadwell Supply sales rep, and then get out there. And there's some good information out there, and bad information online, Neil, perish the thought. Everything on there is completely viable and believable, for sure. Right. Absolutely.
Elvis still alive.
There's that's right. Elvis is flipping burgers at the Burger King. Get it your way, exactly, with a song. So one of the things, too, there are other great sources like our friends over at Multifamily Media Network. They've talked about this issue. I know that you've done another podcast previously about the transition with Adrian.
Correct.
So there's good information out there. People have multiple sources. We appreciate the trust that our customers place in us. Obviously, we want to continue to maintain that.
Yeah.
The way we do that is answering questions to the best of our ability and giving them good, accurate information. So what are some things that you guys are working on right now in merchandising that's coming down the pike as far as A2L tools? That's one of the things we haven't talked about yet. I know that there's compatibility questions. What do our customers need to know about the types of tools they need?
So I think right now, if they'll look at their existing toolbox and check their HVAC specific tools, if they're A2L compliant, they're good to go, right? But they got some older gauges, older manifolds, vacuum pumps, things like that are not, they'll need to switch that and purchase something that is A2L compliant. So I think it's a great time to audit their tools to make sure that they are, that they will handle an A2L. If not, we're happy to supply them with new ones.
So if you guys are out there and you want to check your pack out, if it's a hand tool, you're probably okay.
Your pliers do not need to be A2L compliant.
Your vacuum pumps, like you said, that kind of stuff, non-arcing, non-sparking. This is important. It used to be best practices. Now it definitely is a rule that they need to follow. It's another additional layer of safety. We want everybody to be protected. We want them to get the most out of this efficient new energy opportunity. So Neil, is there anything that we haven't talked about around this issue that you'd like to jump into?
Yeah, I think one big point, and it's a question that bubbled up from our sales team recently, is about line sets, right? Do I have to pull the line sets? Do I need to, yank the line sets out of the building and replace those? And that is a no. That's a hard no. If you've got existing line sets, all you have to do is like previous with R-22 and 410, is just flush them, use a good flush kit, purge the lines, and you're good to go as long as they are the correct size to match up to that unit. That is a big thing. The other thing that has kind of bubbled up is, am I okay just replacing the outdoor unit and not the indoor unit, right?
Mix matching.
Right. Yeah. In our world, that was a big, that's what we do, right?
Yeah,
so unfortunately now, because the mitigation device has to be there, that's not a legal option anymore. So they do need to factor in that they're going to need to replace the indoor unit. Now, the good news specific to our A2L, our R-32 products, be it Brothers or the Goodman product, is that the indoor unit hasn't grown, so you don't have to create space for it, which is a beautiful thing. They can just pull the box and throw another air handler in, same space. They're good. They're okay, but they will need to swap that.
They will need to swap that. So the mix match is a no-go.
It's a no-go,
If you want the guy coming by with the clipboard to be happy with you and not hit you with any fines.
Right. You don't want to stroke a check for for cutting a corner.
Sticker on the equipment, make sure it's right, make sure it matches.
That's correct.
So let's say that again. Sticker on the equipment, let's make sure it matches. That is, we don't hear that.
Right.
But that's the reality.
It's reality.
Yeah.
It is very much, we've, historically just swapped outdoors, right? Indoors are 20 years old. Pull a coil, throw another service coil in the indoor unit. But unfortunately, because there's not a mitigation device that you can attach to an air handler currently, legally you can't do it. Because if they say there's a leak and we get a spark and now we've got a problem, the system's going to run and fill the...
It's a liability issue.
It is a liability issue.
There are reasons for this. While it's not, sometimes the pills are tough to swallow. This is one that we all got to choke down.
That's correct.
Reality is matched systems, R-32 with R-32, can't do a mix match. So Neil, thank you so much for taking the time to break down the benefits of R-32 and why Chadwell Supply and industry leader Goodman have gone with R-32 and their new A2L units.
Absolutely.
Just want to walk back through this again. So if you want a unit that's more efficient, you want a unit that's going to cost you a little bit less, you want a unit that is going to provide you the needs that you have in a smaller footprint. What else am I missing, Neil?
You've got it covered. I think you're good.
R-32 is the right choice for multifamily.
It is. It's in our opinion, it is.
Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your insight.
It's good to be here.
Appreciate your authority on this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the MRO Show presented by Chadwell Supply. If you learned something and you like what you heard here, please rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast service and check out more MRO Show at chadwellsupply.com/podcast.